What's going on, everyone? Alongside that man, there he is, the two-time Super Bowl champ from the New York Football Giants, number 27. I'm Rich Quinones, and as always, this is 27 and Q, the big man Brandon Jacobs Q here. And it has been a minute. I get, because sometimes, you're traveling, you were in New York before, and then you went to LA, then you got the move going. I need you in the setting that I'm familiar with, that I'm comfortable with.
I hadn't been so far, man. I've been doing everything. It's been a minute since I've been on the radio. I think maybe since, I want to say Super Bowl. So I've been like out.
Been all over the place. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You're getting your feet wet. You're out there.
Yeah, so I'm chilling.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. A couple spicy margaritas here and there. You be good.
Rich. You know
good to go. You be in bed by 7 o'clock. By the way, speaking of probably just chilling and relaxing a little bit, is our guy Danny Nichols, Danny Dollars right now. So, hey man, we talked about it. You and I said it. At the end of the day, the Giants and Daniel Jones come to an agreement. 160, 82 million guaranteed at signing. You got 35 million in incentives, 82 over 2 years. Listen, I mean, I think this is a really good contract. And I think for the people that just want to kind of piss on Daniel Jones and the money, they look at it right away and say he's not worthy of this. But when you break it down, the Giants have an out after 2 years. And I said this 11 days ago with you, and I'll repeat it. I think something needs to be said of the fact that John Mara admitted they didn't really help this kid out. And I'm wondering, a little equity built, right? Won a playoff game, went on the road, numbers were up, turnovers were down, completion percentage up, played a full season with really one weapon in Saquon, no disrespect to the other guys. I think this was the Giants' way of saying, yeah, we believe in you, but you better give us the type of production we need in 2 years, and we have an out. But here, this is, almost like doing a solid to him. And I thought he earned it.
I think the guy earned it as well. He played hard. He had a good. His stats this year was pretty good. Well, almost 800 yards rushing.
Yep.
He threw the ball well. He didn't turn it over much. He did what was asked of him to do. No one asked him to go out and have these 500-yard games. 4 touchdowns. 70% in completion, like that type of crazy stuff. He went out and did, because some people didn't even believe he could do that, right? Yeah. So he was above what some people thought that he can do. So a lot of Giants fans are satisfied. The Mara families will always do right by the players. They've always been that way, if they think it makes sense. So, great family and, great organization. So, I know Daniel Jones was going to get his money. I worried about Saquon, but well, they just franchised him. So
yeah,
at what, 10 million, right?
Yes. Yeah. About 10 and some change. But is it possible we're also looking at the contract saying we're so fixated on the fact that Daniel Jones only threw 15 touchdown passes, when yet they traded Tony, they lost Shepard, they lost Robinson, and Kenny Golladay gave them nothing? Like, I feel as though you have to put it in the context and say he also added 7 on the ground rushing. He also added 700 yards, as you mentioned, on the ground running, plus his 3,500. So if you add that together, 4,200 total yards, 22 touchdowns, cut down on the picks and the interceptions. I still feel as though people look at him and think he's an average quarterback, or, well, Minnesota Vikings defense stinks, so he's going to put up good numbers on the road in the playoffs. Why is it so hard to just give a guy credit? Like, if we're going to put everything else in context, why can't we just say he played well? He's not an upper echelon quarterback, but the market sets its own price. And this is what these quarterbacks are getting.
And that's fair. It's the market. A lot of people play above market, like the Deshaun Watson deal. I don't know what they were thinking at all. I don't know. But it was a good deal. Good job, Deshaun, for pulling that off. Salute you. But that's a crazy deal. That's way above anything, So I think Daniel Jones got what he worth, and what the team was able to pay him. And everyone's happy here. It was a good marriage, Rich, you know?
Yes. And Saquon, look, no team has given up 2 first-round draft picks for Saquon Barkley.
Mm-mm.
They're not, unless Buffalo really believes the window's closing and they're that desperate and they do it. And I get from a player standpoint, you don't want that tag. Okay, fine. I think they were trying to figure out a way to bring them both back. And I know he doesn't want that tag. And I know he's not happy with the tag, but he's.
If I was a general manager, I would not let first round picks hold any weight to me. I would make them so important. If I was a general manager, I would not let the first round picks be against. If I want Saquon and I'm willing to give two first round picks, and cool, I'm not going to make those picks the best things. Why should I hold on to them? Because all of this is pissing in the wind anyway. Like like I said once before, you get guys there that's showing to be good. You want to use that first round pick on them, sure, right? But you got guys that's been in the league probably 1 year that can't get a job done. You go get them off a free agency. May do some good. It might just be a year.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you draft a running back and a quarterback in the top 10 in back-to-back years. That's Gettleman. Eventually, what happens? Like, someone's got to get paid, and ultimately, it's always the quarterback, right? I mean, you have to make the money's work. Jones's value is 160 over 4 years, with another 35 million potential in incentives. So that includes the 82 million. Saquon's going to make 10, right around 10 and some change next season. That's, by the way, if he plays on the tag. I mean, the Giants are free to continue to negotiate. Without the tag, he would have been eligible for free agency. And I don't think that's what they wanted to do.
You don't think he could have got you don't think he could have got a 4-year, $45 million deal?
As a free agent?
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't think
he could have got that.
I don't think the Giants wanted to lose him.
No, hell no. I don't think the Giants want to lose
Giants,
him.
if they're going to bring back Daniel Jones, you got to at least bring back his best weapon, even if it's for one season, right? Because you take Saquon Barkley off that team, Daniel Jones is going to do it all. He's going to throw and catch to himself. He's going to pass protect. He's going to run block.
Bart go out here and rush for like 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards. He can make himself some money.
Yeah.
He's going to make himself some money here after this year's over with.
But
I just wish it was with the Giants, man. I know the Giants, the cap has taken a big hit. Still with the Galladay deal, which we retrieved. I guess we ended up saving $6 million in that.
Well, it's not bad as you think. They have a light at the end of the tunnel, 2024 to spend. Remember, they got to figure out what they're going to do with Lawrence. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Love. But just really one more point: if they would have picked up Daniel Jones's 5th-year option, we're not having this conversation, right? Yeah, I believe. When healthy, Saquon Barkley, without a doubt, is one of the most explosive offensive weapons in the NFL. And you look at his numbers, right? I mean, brilliant. Rookie year, then had the injuries, and then we saw what he was able to do this past season. I don't know what the market for a guy like that, because you're still looking at his injury history. Is Saquon, is he a $15 million a year back?
I mean, I think so, man. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Saquon, man. I got to be honest. I think he really is. I mean, you give me a $15 million a year running back in the league right now. Give me one. I'm going McCaffrey, and I'm stopping at McCaffrey right there.
Are we going by the ones that are just high as paid?
No, a legit $15 million a year running back in the NFL right now, whether they getting paid that money or not. Give me one.
Well, Christian McCaffrey, 15, 16 million.
Right. He's worth it. I think he's worth it.
Elliott's not. He's past his prime.
He does everything. He run the ball. He line up in the slot.
Oh, you're talking about McCaffrey. You're talking about Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, no, right. And I'm saying I just brought up Ezekiel Elliott. No, even though he's making right around 15. Kamara, 14, 15, Alvin Kamara, do you put him on the level? Is Saquon better than Kamara?
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, Dalvin Cook he's a man. I gotta go with Barkley.
Well, you know what? I broke down the numbers side by side. Nick Chubb has been more productive.
Nick is a beast.
Yeah, he's been more productive when you think about it than Saquon Barkley has been.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so and then you go through Derrick Henry, who might get released. Mixon, Connor, Fournette just got released. So I would say Saquon's probably 12 plus, $13 million back.
Yeah, I'll say that. I mean, the guy's done everything for the Giants. He was healthy. Now he missed a game.
This past year, that's the thing. Yeah,
he definitely missed some games. So I guess that might take a little bit off of his work.
Nick Chubb, 900, 1,400, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 yards, and yet I feel as though we don't even talk about him enough. He averaged 5 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns, and he added another, I think, 30 or 35 receptions. So he's well over 1,700 all-purpose yards. I mean, he's already got 6,000 in his career. But this, when you draft a running back that high, and then you draft a quarterback, there's no way you're going to be able to hold on to both of them unless you really manipulate the numbers and the cap. And that's the problem.
No, unless you don't pay a Galladay $72 million.
Well, that was yeah.
It's doable without that.
Hey, listen, I think Jones's contract is a good one considering it's $12 million more than what Derek Carr got. Now, Derek Carr just signed with the Saints. And that's actually, when you think about it, a good move because is he not the best quarterback now in that division?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Yeah. It's
unless Lamar Jackson goes to Atlanta.
Well,
I've seen that. I guess maybe because I'm down here and I see what people put up, but
I'm happy you mentioned
talked about.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, because I said this a month ago with you. I think we both agreed his time in Baltimore is over with. The fact that they slapped, if you think about it, if I offer you the exclusive tag instead, then I'm basically saying, all right, Brandon, you're still in the mix. Mm-hmm. When I do that exclusive tag, I wanted to go and negotiate, but we know we're going to get 2 first-round draft picks. So a couple of things on that. How much does it hurt him not having an agent?
Well, I can't be sure on what type of job his mom is doing. I know advice would have been probably given a little bit better from an agent who's been years in the game, who's had multiple clients, who've been, who's been in this situation already. I think that could have helped him out a little bit more. But I gotta say, she has to be seeking help and advice from somebody of that sort. You know what I'm saying? But she has to be. She can't just go out there with no knowledge on what to do, on how to negotiate these deals. She can't. She has to have somebody giving her advice. I'm going to say that because I hope so.
The fact that he's made it public that he wants all this money guaranteed, you mentioned Deshaun Watson. It wasn't really Deshaun Watson. It was the fact that Haslam was dumb enough to give him $320 million guaranteed, where he basically went rogue with Cleveland. He drew the ire of 31 other owners. Listen, you slap that type of tag on a quarterback, that's you basically saying enough of this guaranteed money nonsense. I'm not giving you Brandon Jacobs as a quarterback, $320 million guaranteed. I'm not doing that. But yet we saw one occasion by one franchise on a player who's not as good as Lamar Jackson, mind you. He's just not. And I think it's because Lamar Jackson has come out and says, I want Deshaun Watson type of money.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen. And then you played in the NFL for 10 plus years. You won 2 Super Bowls. When you have teams basically coming out or on their social media website or their accounts actually saying, we have no interest in said quarterback. You mean to tell me Washington, Miami, Atlanta, Carolina, why would you come out already and say you're not interested? That makes no sense.
Right. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It almost strikes me as collusion. Like, what is it? Are you don't want to even have how are the Jets not? They're so in love with Aaron Rodgers, who's half cooked, by the way. They're so in love with Aaron Rodgers. How do you not even want to pick up the phone and entertain the thought of Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, the year he won the friggin' MVP, we all talk about the total amount of yards and what he did with his legs. He threw for 35 touchdowns. Like, he's younger. He's an MVP. You put him in that system, that offense with a couple of those young playmakers and their wide receivers, and they get that kid Hall back off that injury. I don't, for the life of me, please explain.
Yeah, there you go, right there. You just said it, the injury. The 11 games, 10 games he missed the last 2 years? That could be a problem to some teams who not want to entertain the idea of bringing him in.
So you're going to bring in a 37, 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers because of what he did throughout the course of his career?
Yeah, and you pay him way less than what Lamar's trying to get.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is 38 years old. Lamar Jackson's what, 25, 26? Aaron Rodgers is going to want to bring in his guys. That's another thing no one's talking about. Aaron Rodgers, the Jets just cut that wide receiver Barrios to kick the corner.
But Rich, who in the world are Aaron Rodgers' guys? Who are you bringing in? Who is his guys?
I mean, look, he might want a familiar wide receiver to go with him. I can't speak to, give you a name right off the top of my head, but that's just, you don't think for 1 minute there's a part of Aaron Rodgers that wants to have say in the way the offense is going to be structured, say in how the offense is going to be run. This is Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, look what he's done with Green Bay. He was pissed off when the coach took the ball out of his hands a couple of years ago against Chicago.
So
yeah.
So you said that Lamar Jackson should have been considered before Aaron Rodgers.
I'm saying once teams like Washington, Miami, Atlanta, even though Miami said they won't talk to him until after the draft, Washington, Atlanta, Carolina, the Jets, 26 other, Indianapolis, who has the 4th overall pick that obviously needs a quarterback. Hell, even Detroit to some extent, no disrespect to Jared Goff. When they saw that he was hit with this tag, they should at least entertain the thought of Lamar Jackson. And the Jets, what they're doing is putting all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket for a quarterback that couldn't beat the Lions last game of the season to get in the playoffs, has not played particularly well over the last several seasons. He's been banged up. He's nicked up. He's getting older. He's lost a little bit on the fastball, and he's goofy. Like, he calls wide receivers, he throws them under the carpet in the bus. So is that the guy you want when they're 1-3 facing media?
So can Aaron Rodgers create a winning environment, win with the Jets?
I think the Jets, and I'd be a hypocrite if I go back on my word, I think the Jets are a quarterback away, yes, but I don't believe for 1 year, I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is the answer, because if you think you're going to go all in with Aaron Rodgers and beat Buffalo or beat Cincinnati or beat Kansas City, it ain't friggin' happening. Now, can you do it with Lamar Jackson? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying at least you would have Lamar Jackson for multiple years. I just look at Aaron Rodgers potentially to the Jets, like Aaron Rodgers, like Brett Favre to the Jets.
So what do you think he's worth?
It's not
Aaron Rodgers.
It's not really a question of what he's worth. At this stage of the game, people are talking like this is Aaron Rodgers from 2011. It's not.
Right. Yeah. So everybody has a worth every year.
Hence two rounds.
What would you pay him?
I would offer up. I would say I'm not giving up 1st round draft picks for Aaron Rodgers. I would give up maybe two in the 2nd round, maybe a 3rd round, 2 round, and then restructure his contract. To me, Aaron Rodgers is not a $60 million quarterback anymore. He's not. But there's other tangibles. There's other X factors to this. You know this. That's why you're grinning, because the first time they go 1-4 and he throws for $167 and the wide receiver has a drop, and you start to see he gets that frustrated friggin' face going, and he wants to go hide out among the coyotes in the mountains and go find himself again. The Jet fan is going to go nuts.
He won't be able to do. He won't be able to be sensitive like that, being a Jet quarterback. Like, bro, you're going to wake up and smell coffee and realize that.
And to be fair, this franchise, this franchise has had crappy quarterbacks. I mean, you had the little run with Sanchez, then you went from McElroy to Fitzpatrick to McCown to White to Simeon and Darnold and Vic and Gino, and I'm just going down the line, and Flacco and Wilson. I can keep throwing guys out there. They haven't had an established quarterback. Favre was 1 year. They had the nice run with Pennington. Obviously, they had Kenny O'Brien in the 80s. They had Namath, which is, the coup de grace. Yeah, I understand the allure. You trade for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets primetime, it's a lock. They're playing in 6 games. ESPN, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, get it. But does it make them good enough to beat Buffalo, Cincinnati, or Kansas City, and at least do it in one shot in 1 year? That's what I'm saying.
Well, I know Lamar Jackson is pricey, and the Jets may not want to pay that money for a quarterback when they got Aaron Rodgers out there that you probably can get 1 year out of him, and then whatever you got. But I mean, I gotta say, I think I would take that chance versus locking somebody in long term like we ended up doing with Galladay. You'd much rather the Giants sign Galladay over what they signed him, or a crazy amount of $1 million for 1 year.
No, but you're talking about. You're also talking about a wide receiver that had 1 or 2 good years in Detroit, to potential Hall of Fame quarterback in Lamar Jackson, to an already established Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, but at different stages of their career. That's apples and oranges. I'm asking you right now.
I just mean the decision making on how you give a player.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm going out. I'm selling out 1 year. I'm going Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, but explain to me again though with Lamar Jackson. If I tagged, and again, I'm not. I'm thinking of some quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, even though he wasn't as high, when we talk about draft status, and you could argue he would have been the MVP this year. If Jalen Hurts gets tagged like Lamar Jackson got tagged, and there's no interest in Jalen Hurts, doesn't that kind of raise like a red flag? I guess my point is more, why are teams so fast to come out and say, what is it about Lamar Jackson? Is it because the guy got banged up? Is it because he's built like Cam Newton and Allen and maybe he's injury prone? You mean to tell me Washington, Miami, Atlanta, Carolina are not better franchises tomorrow if they had Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson, you could argue, is the best quarterback in the NFC East.
I get what you're saying, Rich. I understand. But these teams, man, I think it's worth paying them that type of money over a long-term deal.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. I think
that's the problem. I think that's what we're dealing with. How much money? How much money did the Ravens offer him when they were renegotiating?
I'll tell you right now. And remember, the sticking point with him was that he always wanted the guaranteed money. I have to find it. I'm going to dig, but it was substantially less. And then he banked on himself. And early on in the year, when we were doing our show during the season, we both thought he was arguably the MVP of the season early on.
Yeah.
He's going to command 40 to 50 because apparently there's a report that the Pats, it's going to cost 40 to 50 per season plus 2 first-round picks because, again, it's the non-exclusive franchise tag. and maybe these teams don't want to part ways with those picks. I don't know.
I think that's where you win at. I just take my chances with a guy that's a free agent. Bring him in. Give up, those, what I'm saying, like, I don't have to have 2 first-round picks where I go, I'm going to go get this guy that done this in college. I'm like, all right, cool. You take the first-round picks, and give me Lamar Jackson. And, you know what I mean? I would do that because I wouldn't hold, to me, those picks wouldn't hold as much value. It's just lucky, man. It's really lucky for real.
No, you're right. I put up the numbers. So they offered him $250 million with $133 million of it guaranteed, and he turned it down. It's a lot of money, man.
You think you take that type of deal now? One he turned down?
I think we're Monday morning quarterbacking, and this is no knock on who's giving him advice. I think if he had an agent, we're not having this conversation, because an agent works on what? Is
his mom still doing that for him?
Pretty much. I mean, he's got he reps himself, right? I mean, it's hard for me to say, right? If I'm going to bank on myself, and like Daniel Jones banked on himself. And I also think what made it even more impressive was the lack of weapons. So that ups his value. If you're Lamar Jackson, would I have taken $250 million with 133 guaranteed? I probably would. But then I look at another quarterback who I think I'm better, who just got $320 million guaranteed in Watson. So you said it yourself when you were negotiating and you looked around the league.
Yeah, you looked around the league.
Yeah, and you were better than certain running backs.
Marion Barber got 4 years or 5 years, something like that, with $42 million. And they got like 19 or 20, somewhere guaranteed like that. I was looking at that deal. Well, my agent told me I wasn't worth that.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question though. Do you sit in these negotiations? It's
that's what I think that has to be the hard part. Well, no, if you think about what's his name for the Braves?
Acuna?
Oh, no, Freddie Freeman.
Oh, Freddie Freeman with the Dodgers, and then with the Dodgers.
Yeah, but he was misinformed throughout negotiation.
Yeah,
and he really accepted the deal, and his agent didn't think that was a good enough deal for him. So the agent turned it down, and said the Dodgers offer, and it takes that, and he don't even know this. So you're not sitting in there.
I guess it's because I would want to know what's being said, because then I can counter something and pitch myself, right? You know what I'm saying? So
until you hit a negative on yourself, on something you pride yourself in so much, is playing football and being a beast and think you're worth everything, until you get in there and hear why they won't give you that money. That's that's the part I think that would be demoralizing, as representing yourself. You have to hear the negatives coming straight from their mouth.
Yeah, but you got to have thick skin, man, right? Especially
dealing
with that kind of money. Like when you were renegotiating, when you were talking about your contract and whatnot, did your agent come back and say, hey, these are the pros, but then this is, these are the cons they gave me?
Right. But, just sitting there, I would wait till he called me and okay, here's what they offer. Here's where we are now. What do you think about that? I'll try to load this part of it. I'll try to load that part of it. I'll try to see if I can get you, $300,000-400,000 in incentives, and try to get that number up a year to the way you think you should be getting from the team. So we can do the extra work, as your marketing, people, and we can make up the money that you won't get to the contract through marketing, like appearances and, or some stuff like, or you score this many touchdowns, you get this incentive.
Yeah, incentive based.
At the top number. Right. But he was like, nah, man, Dallas gave Marion Barber that much money, but Giants won't give that. I don't think I would give it to you. You are him. Just like that. So I don't know about that. I don't think you can get that.
I don't know, man. I kind of think, see, everyone says, and this is totally the opposite of what everyone thinks. Like, I'm not trying to be the contrarian, but the NFL overpays for quarterbacks because it's the marquee position. They touch the ball the most. It's a recognizable face. When you think of a team right away, who do you think of? The guy under center. It's not debatable, right? It just isn't.
Not at all.
So I look at running backs and I would say, well, these are the guys that, they're really smashing into the hole, smashing in the line of scrimmage. These are guys that are taking the brunt a lot.
Yeah, they don't want to pay us a dime, man.
But that's where I was going to go. I would almost value a little higher than other positions. And because back in the day, the career life expectancy of a running back was 3 to 5. Now you told me you had to play how many years in the NFL to get a pension fully vested?
3 years. But those other 2 years that you didn't get the pension, they are accredited. They do go toward. So it says that, let's say it's 3 years and you put that third year, and that third year was going to be your first year eligible. They give you the first and second year too. They give it to you.
But you got to play a full season, right?
You got to play, yeah.
You have to be on the active roster.
Well, really, it should be 3 years. There's 3 seasons and 4 games.
16 games, 16. So what do we left? 40. So like you're talking about 50 something odd games as a pro. Yeah. But then when you win a Super Bowl, doesn't that also give you a lot more equity when it's time to renegotiate?
It just depends on what they're looking at. For me, it didn't really help me out that much because I always had a counterpart with me. I wasn't by myself. So at some point they was going to give him some money too, which I ended up taking a cut for. When they paid him out, but I didn't have a problem doing.
Yeah.
I did that with like, how much you need? Yeah, cool. That's cool. Let's redo
it. It was weird because 2012, right? Didn't Mario go to San Francisco?
It went with me. Him and I went the same time.
And then Hakeem, I think, was in Indianapolis. Ahmad was in Indianapolis.
No, Ahmad was still with the Giants. He was in Indianapolis the year after that.
Okay. It's just sometimes when I go on Pro Football Reference and I look at players, and I pull up the Giants and I'll be like, man, this guy was a killer for 4 or 5 years. And then the injuries start to happen, right?
You fade with the wind.
Yeah. The way Ahmad ran the football, right? Hakeem and Mario and, just the wheels. That's why you go out and you get what you can get, man. Honestly, I can't begrudge these guys. It's not my money. I say it all the time. If somebody's willing to pay me an enormous amount of money to do what I do, what am I going to sit there and say I don't deserve it? You're talking like generational wealth. Well, I'm not going to feel guilty for that crap.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
But you would probably be annoyed, though, if you realized teams came out of the woodwork and said, we're not interested in Brandon Jacobs. You come out that's my point. I just don't understand. Why are they making it such? They're emphasizing that they're not in, unless they're, playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. I mean, you stick him on Miami, they're a playoff contender. You stick him with Washington. He's the best quarterback you can argue in the NFC East. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts. You put him in, Atlanta now. Now Atlanta is a viable option in that division. So
that division is weak, though, and it is. I think it's going to be the same way next year. You got David Carr going down to New Orleans. I want to see how that turns out. I want to see how that change their team and what they are able to do. Because let's be honest, man, the Saints quarterback played the last 2 years has been terrible.
Winston and Dalton.
Toward the end of Breeze era, it was terrible going there as well. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with Carr.
Yeah. The water pistol was not getting it done. Winston is
water pistol.
Yeah, but they're retreads, right? Look, Carolina can probably take a flyer. One of those guys is a bridge quarterback. I honestly, I can see Daniel Snyder with a big FU to the NFL making a run at Lamar Jackson before he has to sell the team. To me, it just makes sense. Lamar Jackson with Washington. Now, as a Giants fan, do I want to see him in that division? No, I don't.
Why?
Because he's so good. I don't need these quarterbacks to be dominating. That's like asking a Jet fan for 20 years, hey, were you okay with Tom Brady in the friggin' division?
I'm taking my chances knowing that one of the games on the schedule he won't be available for.
So you're talking all about the availability. You don't think he's going to play 17 full going forward?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
because I think he's worth it production wise, what he does, but I just think availability he's not. You're gonna pay a quarterback so much money, and for you to be hurt for 3-4 games until going down to the stretch of your team where you got to try to make the playoffs and fight through stuff. I won't even have my best player.
Yeah, but Rodgers has been banged up. Rodgers has missed games over the last couple of years. I mean, he's not Superman. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, why would you want to go to the AFC?
Aaron Rodgers missed. He was benched one time. I do know that, but I'm not sure he missed.
He's had some injuries. I mean, he dealt with the hand injury when they lost to the Giants in London. He had the issues with the hand. But why would you want to go to the AFC?
But didn't he play?
He did, but he was not as effective as the season wore on. That's my point. I should have clarified it. He wasn't, and I think it attributed to the injury, but I also think it attributed to the fact that he's not the same quarterback, man. You tell me if this is Aaron Rodgers like 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 3,600 yards, coming off a season in which he threw for 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 4 picks. It's one of the worst years of his career. So you're going to put all your eggs in one basket. And again, why do you want to play in the AFC? You have to go through Cincinnati, Buffalo, and Kansas City. Oh, and Jacksonville, that's on the rise. You've got some teams there, potentially Baltimore. Stay in the NFC. It's an easier road.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. I definitely agree. You got Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Carr now down in New Orleans. What other quarterback? Nothing in Florida. What do you got?
Well, we don't know what's going to go on with Stafford. You got Goff. You got Cousins, as you mentioned. It could be potentially Love in Green Bay. Chicago, you got Fields. San Francisco, there's another team, right? San Francisco has no quarterback.
But you don't think they're gonna go back with
Lance?
Yeah. It should be healed perfectly. Things should be all done.
You got Purdy on the roster. You still got Jimmy G. Trey Lance coming off a pretty bad injury, man. I mean, that's
Purdy's team, man. I think that's what they're gonna end up doing, starting Purdy. Purdy gave his team a lift, dude. He had them thinking and believing like they had swag. They were,
and then he got knocked down, and they were left with no quarterback.
Right, but he had swag, man, and they bought into him. They played with him.
Yeah, but can you do it consistently? Can you do it for another year, 2, 3, 4? Is it lightning in a bottle? And I think to where we started, that's probably what Giant fans are thinking too. All right.
He was caught in a very vulnerable position, man, I must say.
Purdy?
His arm was back.
Yeah.
His arm was back, and they hit him like that. Like that's pretty tough.
Hey, real quick, I want to hit on NBA, but I have a question for you. Do you think that kid's stock is going to drop now from Georgia defensive lineman Jalen Carter with the off the field stuff? I talked about it a little this week. I mean, you could have made a case he could have been arguably the first overall pick. And now I'm seeing him slide all the way to like 10, 12, 11, 13, 14. Pittsburgh maybe grabbing him at 17.
Yeah, how do you prove that? Like, I've been thinking about that. And he said he will be exonerated, no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
No question. So how you know that beats me. What happened is the thing, right? What happened? So if you're trying to make a decision to bring a guy in, go and draft somebody with your first round draft pick, right, on a guy that you know can help your team. like he is. So how I need to know what happened before I can draft. Like, were y'all racing, or were you just behind them, or were they ahead of you and you pulled up on a car, flipped over, or mangled, or whatever you want to say? Like, what actually happened there? Right? They're going to have to get all of the logistics, because there's nothing you can prove them on. Nothing. I think you'll have a chance to still, a chance to not drop it in the draft.
But the fact that he was, quote, arrested, right, on misdemeanor charges because of an accident, a deadly accident, that I think drastically shifts people were talking, the mock drafts had this kid going number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So again, let me play dumb for a minute. What's the difference going number 1 and all of a sudden I slide down to 17? I mean, that's
it's big time. That's a big loss. It's a big negative.
Yeah. So how do you quantify that? Like, if you're a franchise, say there was some talk with Arizona, maybe grabbing him, and he's had other issues off the field as well. And I think he's been caught speeding several times where he was given a warning. We say red flags, right? Like, I would love to just be a fly on the wall and listen to these GMs when they go through these draft boards, because you know this, right? They're going to talk to the player. They're sitting down with the player. They're going to read the room. They're going to read the player. They're going to see if they're locked in eye to eye. They're going to try to read his body language and figure this player out before they make a decision that could change, his life and alter the path of their franchise. So the talent's there. It's undeniable, but
I agree. I just don't know. I don't know if it'll drop him. Well, number 1, maybe it will drop him from there. But I think mostly on how he handled it with the media about being exonerated. He knew he would be exonerated. I thought that could have been kept to himself. But other than that, I don't know much about the kid. And they said it was racing, and he said it wasn't.
Yeah. What do you think of this kid, Anthony Richardson?
So yeah, let's talk about him. You're talking about the quarterback in Florida, right?
I am, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Well, I saw this the other day, and they had all combine, right?
Yeah.
And I look at the list, and it has CJ Stroud on there, who's astronomical, right? He's a great quarterback. But if you're going all combine, isn't it the combine testing stuff that you did there to be all combine, or are you taking your season accolades and bringing them in with your performances at the combine? Like, what'd you do? We got an argument with a guy saying that's not all combine because Richardson has much better numbers than CJ Stroud. He's faster, he jumps higher, he's stronger than him, he's more explosive than him. Everything. So what's all combine?
So I hear what you're saying. I can appreciate it, and I knew you were going with that. Do we also give him a little pass the fact that he wasn't on a very good team? He started 13 games. He doesn't have a winning record. I mean, how much of that do you kind of factor in? New head coach.
He's playing against Georgia, playing against Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? He a couple of years in there where you're going to get Alabama, LSU, week in, week out. Yeah, I think the kid it's fair to say he's a top quarterback in the league. He was there. He played the heat.
You rank him over CJ Stroud?
Not necessarily rank him over, but I'm definitely giving him his flowers. If a team were to take him before CJ Stroud, I wouldn't be shocked.
What about Bryce Young?
Bryce Young is different. I like Bryce. I like him. I like him as a number 1 overall quarterback prospect.
What about the size, though? Does that worry you a little bit?
He's not that small. He's bigger. He's taller than Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He's taller than him.
It's funny you mentioned Kyler Murray, because I had an argument with my buddy the other day, and they're like, oh, I can't believe the Giants gave Jones that money. And I was like, look what Arizona gave Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray is more athletic skill set than Daniel Jones, but who would you rather coach? Who's a leader right now? Come on, seriously. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's a major headache. Did you see what happened to Kevin Durant?
No.
He slipped on the floor. He slipped on the floor last night during warmups, and he might be out for the rest of the regular season. I'm not laughing that he got hurt. It's horrible. But
what the heck? Like what did he hurt?
His ankle. Literally was going up for a dunk, I think, or just warm-ups on the floor. Yep. And now he might be out for the rest of the season for Phoenix and maybe in the playoffs. Ankle injury, pregame slip, set for an MRI.
Dang.
And everyone was waiting to kill him this year and say, if you don't want to,
that is going to hurt. They're going to hurt the Suns big time, man, because they just shipped out some pretty good role players that they had on the team for him in a trade, and now he's not a pro.
They're not even right now. They're sitting at the 4th seed. Denver's going to run. I mean, Denver right now is arguably the best team in the Western Conference. It's so top heavy. I'm not even going to worry about your Lakers. I'm glad you enjoyed the game the other night, but they're horrible.
Oh, man, the Lakers don't bother me like anymore. I'm not rooting for them anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're rooting
for the Clippers. I'm rooting for the Clippers.
Yeah, I was just let's see where the clip. Let's go over your Clippers.
They drop.
Yeah. Every time you post something, by the way, with points, I'm wondering, is it always Russell Westbrook related?
Westbrook is my guy, man. Like Westbrook is my guy. I'm always rooting for him. I want him to get a ring. I do.
Let me see. I'm pulling up his game logs.
It won't be too crazy. I mean, I got it right here. If you
Oh no, I you probably have it like on speed dial. Go ahead.
I got it, buddy. Right here.
Yeah.
So March 8th.
Yeah.
Played 20. Yeah, he got 23 minutes and 7 points. 3 for 6 field goals. That was his first game with the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah.
March 5th, played 34 minutes, 9 points. Not great. 4 for 9, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Right. Sacramento plays 35 minutes. He got 27 points. He's 12 for 16. He got 2 rebounds and he got 10. 2 rebounds and 10 assists. Golden State, 8. He plays 28 minutes, 8 points, 3 for 12. Not great. All of this stuff I see right here, none of this stuff, and it's not crazy turnovers. He's not getting the Clippers beat. I don't think he has enough minutes to be able to be that type of factor in the game when the team losing.
He's playing 30 minutes a game. He's playing 30.7 minutes a game. George is averaging 34. Kawhi's averaging 33. They're getting up there in age. You know, I was never a big Paul George fan. I don't think he's a clutch player. He's a good player. Even when he was in Indiana, though, I've never been enamored with him. Kawhi's not the same player. I don't see anyone beating Denver come out of the Western Conference. I mean, this is just horrible. Golden State, you got to deal with Curry. Phoenix now, no Durant. How about, let me ask you this. You think the NBA is going to suspend Ja Morant?
Absolutely. Heck yeah. Bet me too.
Do you think this is a situation where he's trying to be something he's not? Like
he's not.
He's
trying to be something. He's trying to be something he's not, Rich. I don't mean to cut you off, but this burns me up. It pisses me off bad, man. I respect Ja Morant and his game. These guys, that guy's talented as all get out, super explosive, fun to watch. But it's people that, quote unquote, from the hood, live in the hood, that don't want to be in the hood. They have no way out of the hood. He's never been in the hood, wasn't raised in the hood, wasn't raised in this toxic family type environment. But he wants to go with guns and do this and do that with people are dying to get out of, literally. Like, so that's not cool. Like, I call myself where I grew up something similar to a hood, which is small, right? but I couldn't wait to get out of there. I couldn't wait. I mean, they had people die and stuff like that. So I still won't sit up here and tell you I'm good. I'm from, I'm this and I'm that. I just don't get someone wanting to
portray that, play the part.
Yeah, to portray that when the people that have to live that way, is a shame to talk about it and a shame to be a part of it. So it's I don't know, man. I just hope whoever talked to Ja, man, can get him straight. And man, you got yourself around. So now, when I was living in Jersey, I'm gonna tell you like this. When I was living in Jersey, I was hanging in Patterson. I was hanging on 20th Ave. Like I was hanging out there
That's
on
a pretty
Governor
tough.
Street.
That's a rough
I was
place.
out there with the boys, you know what I'm saying? But in no way, shape, or form, I'm out here carrying guns and stuff like that. But I get it. I understand. Go back to the Plexico Bird situation. He spoke out and said something. People talk crazy about Plexico Burris in the situation and in an incident he had. But what nobody knows and what nobody ever mentions, because this is stuff that don't get brought up, that we had three guys robbed at gunpoint. Before that, Steve Smith got out of his car. He was pushed into his home.
Yeah.
They put Tim Carter. I don't know if you remember Tim Carter. They put Tim Carter in his car and they drove around Jersey gunpoint to different ATM machines in.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
wide receiver.
It was all sorts of stuff, man. Like it was all sorts of stuff. So Plaxico was like, not me. You ain't gonna get me. And I feel him. I definitely feel him like that. But is that to say Plaxico trying to act like he's tough? No. He's just trying to defend himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Even to this day, I think it's because the gun went off and he shot himself. And in New York, this at the time, they had to make an example, right? They made
an example at the wrong time, man.
Listen to your lips to God's ears, man, because till the day I die, I'll believe that you guys should have repeated. You should have won 3 Super Bowls. You easily should have repeated that year, even though, he wasn't putting up the monster numbers. You guys just offensively were destroying teams. You got waxed against the Browns, embarrassed, and then you went on like a 7, 8, 9 game winning streak. And then come playoff time, what the frig did the Eagles do? Let's just stack the box in the win, and here we go.
Stack the box. You ain't got nobody I shouldn't say you have nobody to stop. The way our team worked was the way we played offense and what we did. Plexico had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying Amani wasn't great, Hickson wasn't great. That I'm not saying that because those guys had a big part in all of our success. But as a unit, we did right. As a unit, we did. Okay, so you take that away, you play us totally different.
Oh yeah,
totally different. Just take that one man away.
No, agree. Trust me, I don't even that now I'm getting annoyed thinking about that. But to your point with the Ja thing, you're right, man. Someone's got to pull him aside and say, "This ain't you, man. This ain't you," right? Because in a weird way, you're right. You are doing kind of a disservice, and you're kind of spitting back at the guys that are trying to get out of that area and make something of their lives. Like, you're a millionaire. You're a charming young kid, a great ball player. You got a franchise, behind you that invested a lot of money. You got a city behind you, right? You can be that leader and you can be that guy. Like, knock the crap off. Like, seriously.
Yeah, hey, what do you think about Travis Kelce's situation?
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, he did an interview on I think Saturday Night Live, I want to say, and he was talking about how Jason was always better than him. And he was saved after he was kicked out of school for smoking weed, right? And I think he ended like saying something like, see, you can get kicked out of school for weed and still win the Super Bowl, maybe 2. That was Saturday Night Live when adults was watching Saturday Night Live. But when you take what he said and you put it on a piece of paper and then you plaster it out there and people see it.
The optics are not.
Yeah.
Not good. No, I hear you. I hear it. Because rest assured, Brandon Jacobs would have said it, the shit would have hit the fan.
You know what I'm saying? So
Without saying,
like,
yeah.
but no, but like, here's what I'm saying with that part though. He said it on Saturday Night Live where all adults was watching this, and we get that. We understand that. Well, once you take it and you put it on a piece of paper, and a picture, and make it a meme, and you put it out, and people actually read it, we can't see your. So you got a kid that may be looking at that, and we're like, "Damn, Travis Kelce just said that. What should we'll smoke me some weed and just work out?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can come off like that.
Listen, you got to read the room, man. You got to know that you're being watched and people are listening to everything you say. And you're right, the optics on that look bad. I mean, I get you're kind of joking, like he is kind of joking, but to your point, I mean, there's such hypocrisy. It really is. I said this the other day that the NBA is so uberly sensitive to their image, right? They really are. And you got a player brandishing a gun on IG. Okay, fine. You got a face of a franchise brandishing a gun on IG. You got a black player brandishing a gun on IG who's the face of a franchise. All of a sudden, everyone sits back and says, see, this is why I don't want to watch the NBA. But nobody wants to talk about that. Right? Nobody wants to talk about that. But that's the reality. It's almost like you're giving them, pardon the expression, ammunition. And the kid just made a stupid judgment, lapse, a mistake. And he's going to get suspended because of the clause in contracts and what the NBA comes down to when it comes to guns and stuff like that. And someone's got to pull him to the side and either kick him in the ass or say, yo, you're not that guy.
Yeah.
Because when you start to front like that, and then maybe you go out to a club in Memphis and you think you're that guy, guess what? You're going to run into those that are really that guy. Then what are you going to do?
And he's also hanging with guys who are really those guys. Well, those guys who's really his guys, I'm not sure they truly care about him, but those guys he's hanging with, who are those guys, also got guys who are their guys on the other side of the town that don't like them.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So you can just be caught the wrong place at the wrong time.
And it doesn't end well.
Right.
It doesn't end well. So, all right, big man. Did you see? I don't want to know how it ended. I don't want to know.
I didn't see it. I'm not going to tell you how it ended. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to.
I need a number 27 grade on a curve. Creed 3. Thumb up or thumb down?
Thumb down for me.
Thumb down, man.
It's too predictable.
Well, but aren't all the Rocky movies like that?
I'm just saying it's too predictable from the time it started.
Yeah. You'd be proud of me, though. I watched Trading Places the other day, and I just laughed straight through for 2 hours.
Trading Places?
It's Eddie Murphy he's a genius, man.
I like Eddie Murphy on Life.
That was a good movie. That was a funny movie. You ever see a stand-up?
Eddie Murphy, yeah, I've watched it.
Hilarious and Raw, yeah. You want to watch? You want to watch a funny stand-up? Watch Richard Pryor on Sunset Strip.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go back and YouTube some of these highlight. Some of these stand-up highlights. Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, but
when I got nothing going on.
Every time I think of Trading Places, man, the jail cell scene is one of my favorites, man.
Yeah. Life is my favorite movie, though. That's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite movie.
I used to
remember we talked about that, and I told you that Coming to America was lame.
I wasn't happy with that. I got a lot of people that agree with me. They're like, "Yo, what's wrong with your guy?" I said, "I don't know, man."
Yeah, a lot of people don't agree with you.
Yeah.
Hey, they say I go against the grain. I just don't think it's a good movie.
Hey, I hear you. All right. You doing any ESPN this weekend or what?
No, not this weekend. I'm taking the boys to Florida State this weekend.
Ooh, nice. You driving or flying? Oh,
driving.
All right.
It's like 5 hours or something like that.
Yeah, do me a favor. I don't need to see any more videos of you driving. Pay attention on the road. I'm like, this guy's literally sending me a video because he doesn't think I believe.
No. I wanted you to see
You got a nice ride. I saw that. You keep the car pristine. I appreciate
That's what I wanted. I wanted you to see that. Now, if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. Shit, that's on you. You got to deal with that. Not me. I wanted you to see the traffic, man.
Yeah.
You know, it was traffic.
I can tell. I can tell. Well, you made it home safe. So, all right, big man, say what you have to say.
Yo. I know I might have seen a little dry today, people, but your boy is tired. Your boy is tired. Everybody have a great day. Have a good humanities. You know, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir. Take care of your neighbors, please, and thank you.
Oh, it's like the on-running joke right now. Everything is PG.
Yeah.
We get it. We won't push you on that one for the you're becoming one of the media.
Yeah, man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to do it the right way.
Yeah, you're doing it the right way. For the two-time Super Bowl champ from the New York Football Giants, number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. Hope everyone enjoyed this edition of 27Q. Give us a follow on social media as well, Twitter, IG, and the YouTube channel 27Q. We will do it again next time. Big man, have a good trip down there to Florida State, and we'll do it again.
I can't wait, Rich. I can't wait. I can't wait for the drive because I thought I was working in camp this week, but comes to find out I'm not working in camp this week, so now I got to go on a 5-hour drive.
You'll be good to go, man. You'll be good to go. Have safe travels.
Yep. All right, brother. Good seeing you.
You too.